Wagwan people, we are back with another Fourever Arsenal. Need to check in and see how everybody's doing today. It's not our normal, everybody's upbeat, buzzing, because for only the second time this season, we suffered a defeat, and what a sickening defeat it was as well. It's like one of those where, in boxing fights you see where it's like, it's going right to the end, and then all of a sudden it's just like knockout blow right on the end of the fight. That's what it was like. We didn't even have time to kick off again, and Arsenal suffered their second defeat in all competitions of the season. Joining me to discuss that game and also look ahead to Bruges, we've got Curtis, we've got Jack, and of course Lee Judges in the building. And congratulations going out to Lee. I know you were playing football today and you got a win. And you had an assist, right?
Yes. An assist. And now we're in the County Cup quarterfinals. Of course, we are the holders. So it was a bit of a battle. And we managed to come through 1-0. Proper game of football it was today. Proper two teams going at it. But the difference between us and Arsenal is we've got our centre halves there, you know what I mean? And they were outstanding today. And you keep a clean sheet, you don't lose games of football. It's as simple as that.
I've got a lot of respect for you, at your age, still playing.
Yeah. Well, do you know what? It's not so much the playing. We've got such a great bunch of lads. It's the banter you have with all the players and everything like that. There was a saying, one of them today, I ain't going to mention, I'm not going to give him the credit and mention his name. Afterwards in the bar, it was like, they sort of pints of Carling, and he said, I'm going to have a Carling because if Carling done weekends, this is it, you know what I mean? Like Spurs fan, you know what I mean? And I said, well, you don't have many beers then, do you, you know what I mean?
He's teetotal, isn't
he? Teetotal, you know what I mean? He's got about 6 stone, you know what I mean? So, yeah. The Spurs fans giving it to me today over there, and I said, hold on a minute, we just stuffed you 4-1, right? You haven't won for ages, you managed to beat the mighty Brentford, you know what I mean, this weekend, and you're giving it.
I know.
And listen, one thing, it's bad enough us losing, but there's a lot of people have enjoyed it, Robbie. A lot of people have enjoyed our defeat, and do you know what? That shows you that they're all worried.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? All worried, not worried about their own teams, worried about the Arsenal losing, So, listen, as you said, 2 defeats. It's tough, and it was a painful defeat. Painful. I woke up about 7 o'clock this morning. I meant to be out about 8, but I woke up and said I couldn't get back to sleep. It was. If you listen, no one likes losing, and you're gonna lose a few games along the way. It's the way that football is. But to lose it with the last kick of the game, there's no way back. There was no way back after that. You knew it was up, and Rob, like I said, I've seen it on socials today. He was getting it, they was all giving it you. But these fans, they come out celebrating, and want, look, listen, we've got them in a couple of weeks. If I see any Aston Villa fans and we beat them, I ain't going to be jumping in front of them and everything like that. I don't know why they want to do that nowadays. You know what I mean? It's such a big thing to beat Arsenal, and that's where we are, boys. Do you know what? I'm sitting here today, disappointed I am, but they're all celebrating like they've won the title when they beat Arsenal. So we must be doing something right, even though it was a tough game.
Yeah. Curtis, what how are you feeling, man? I mean, you would have been doing your stream. It has been a very frustrating stream, no doubt, because they had chances, we had chances. I think it was 15 shots each, but they were just more clinical with theirs. Even though they missed chances, we missed chances. It was one of, if you're neutral, you probably enjoyed that game. There's a lot of chances in it, but God, it was rough at the end.
It was. I mean, I can't imagine what it was like in the ground, but it was sickening. I think, with say the Villa fans giving it to you after the game, as long as it's in banter and stuff like that.
To be fair, it was right. And I told Ty the other day about reacting. So that's what you got to do. You've got to laugh it off. But they were on me, man. You You
I've
just
seen
seen
a
that
video.
clip. They were all on me. I was like, I had to say to her one time, I go, yo, do I play? Am I on the pitch? You know what I mean? The way they were giving me stick, man. But they were all right. To be fair, they're all right, man. But you can understand it, innit? Last minute winner, they were happy.
Do you know what it is, though? I think we have to take that as a bit of a mark of respect, you know? It's like when we're finishing 8th, you beat a team in 8th, you're not that bothered, are you? We're top of the league, so we've got a big target on our back. So anyone who beats us, number one, they've beaten the team who's top. Number two, we've got a very loud fan base. You know, we're probably the loudest on social media. In terms of the game, I think first of all, as much as it hurts, I think Villa deserve credit. You know, I actually thought I don't know if they deserved to win, but I think they had the better chances in the game. You know, you look at Watkins missing the first half, you look at Marlon's missing the second half where he drags it wide. And it was a strange game. I don't know how you felt, but we come out at half time and it felt like a different Arsenal. We dominated for about 20 minutes, got the goal. And I thought only one team's winning this game. We've got them on the back foot. And I don't know if we took our foot off the gas or whether Villa just started to turn the screw again. But it then felt like we didn't create that much after scoring the goal. Maybe the Saka chance that the defender cleared. And I just think in games like this, sometimes you need individual brilliance to win you a game, a moment of magic. And I just think at the moment our attack is not. I don't know. Trossard's the one who's sort of playing well. Marino's had a few good games. We praised Marino the other day. This was the game where he looked like a centre midfielder playing up front. You know, he didn't look like a striker. It didn't happen for him. Eze, we spoke about Eze in the last show. He had a stinker of a game. You know, first of all, it doesn't matter what position you play. You put a shift in. That's the first thing you do. You just do your job. You defend, you mark people, you work hard. But, you know, make sure you got the right studs on is the first thing you do. Make sure you're skating around the pitch. Second of all, you switch off at the back post. It's just basic. You know, it's basic. The only thing I'll say in his defence, not on the performance, but overall, I felt over the last month, even though he's had a few performances not so good, I thought you saw things in his game where you went, if you keep developing that, he can be a top player in this side, a hat trick, a winner against Palace, a late assist against Man City. And to kind of just say, Odegaard comes straight back into the team, you go on the left. I just thought if I was Eze, I'd be a little bit disappointed with that. I know he holds Odegaard in high regard, but does he damage the opposition enough? I mean, I don't know if you guys heard on commentary afterwards. Keown gave Odegaard man of the match, which I couldn't believe. He gave him man of the match. He wasn't our best player, never mind the best player on the pitch. So I didn't understand that. But yeah, I think like Lee said, I think Emery done a number on him, on Arteta. And I think that the thing that slightly concerns me about that is have teams now seen the blueprint of how to beat Arsenal, you know, be aggressive, get amongst them in midfield. Felt we got overran in midfield, which I've hardly ever seen happen to Arsenal. I felt like Declan Rice was babysitting our midfield. If I was him, I'd come off the pitch. I'd go, what do you want me to do? What am I supposed to do, mate? You know, like you said, they're putting up the thing for time added on, and Rice is like looking over, like, am I coming off? Like, it's almost like he wanted to be substituted. He was that tired. And I don't know about anyone else. I'll let you guys talk. When Rice puts that ball across the area in the last 10 minutes, I am screaming at the camera. Right? We were there together in Singapore when Gyökeres scored. I went, mate, that's your bread and butter right there. How are you not sprinting across the 6-yard box to tap that in? And then Noni kind of doesn't make the most of it at the back post as well. So I think it's one of them days, you know, missed opportunities. I think I do give some credit to the team because I think we've had a hard couple of weeks. Players keep dropping. I heard Lee say, you know, Nkapie is constantly playing with different centre-backs, no chemistry. But we do have a little run now of 3 or 4 games to put it right. So as much as I'm disappointed, they've got to sort of brush it off and go again now. Rotate as well this week as well.
Can I ask a question quickly? Like, you know, I was talking to someone yesterday, one of my mates, and he made the point of and I don't know if you felt this, Rob, as well, like when all of us going to the game. There was all the talk going to the game that Saliba was going to be fit, okay, and there weren't no indication that it was. And when he found out that he wasn't fit, it was a deflated feeling of, I thought we might win here. Now it's a draw. Do you think that maybe like Mikel shouldn't lead us on like that? He's going to play because I know that perhaps he can't say it, but we knew that Mosquera weren't going to be playing. We all thought that Saliba was. So when he weren't, there was a bit of a doom and gloom. Maybe that transferred into the away end. I don't know if it was like that for you guys watching it as well. That you felt like that.
Remember,
I understand what he was saying.
Remember in the car, Lee, right? So on the way up there, Curtis, yeah, and Jack, yeah, we're sort of like, we're all confident. We're all like, yeah, there's changes, but Saliba's coming back. Yeah, 2-1, right? The minute we all heard the team, remember, Lee? What did we all say?
We went for a draw.
We all said, take a draw. You know what I mean? Every one of us said it. And you know what summed up that game for me yesterday? Trossard, yeah? Comes on, scores, then has to come off again because he can only play 30 minutes. And that summed it up for me. I just said to myself, we can't just keep doing this with these injuries, man. If we are to win the league, we've got to get players back. We need, we can't keep going to it seems like every time we turn up at one of these big games, there's somebody out. And they're always big players, you know what I mean? So you're turning up at the most informed team in the league at this moment in time. You got none of your centre halves are there. Your most informed wide player, which has been Trossard, he ain't playing. Everybody, the players that are coming in are just coming back, right? So, Ben White's just coming back. Odegaard's just coming back. Gyökeres just coming back. Madueke's only recently come. I'm just like, when are we going to have a game where it's just like, when we're doing the starting 11 show, we already know what the 11 is because everyone's available. And maybe we're thinking, should we... We're just saying add that recently, and then couple with the tough games that we've had, it was just always going to catch up with you. And I think that yesterday was the one. Yesterday was the one when it caught up on us. However, still it was painful because, as I said before the game, when I saw the team, I was like, I'll take a draw. Looked like we're going to get that draw, which wouldn't have been bad, even though it's a couple of points drop, but it wouldn't have been bad. But then we get sucker punch right at the end. And I agree with you, what you said there, Curtis. When that ball got crossed into the box, I'm like, why weren't Gyökeres or Madueke on that? Or is that just that they're not match sharp at the moment? That they're on their heels? Because like you said, that's bread and butter. That's the sort of stuff that, Gyökeres has actually done all right with so far, isn't it? Like them tap-ins. He was just on his heels. Declan Rice was absolutely knackered. Ben White was knackered. I felt sorry for him, man. He was shattered at the end of that game. Quite rightly so. He's only just come back. He's had to play 2 big games, 90 minutes in a week, which he would never have done if players were available. He would have just done the 1 game. And I think when you said, Curtis, it's quite right what you said. For about 20 or 25 minutes in that second half, we were really, really good. Only looked like one team was going to win that game, like you said. But then I think it's just fatigue. They just started sticking it on us, putting it on us a bit more. And you could see it was a lot of last-ditch stuff going on from us. We'd lost. We didn't have that normal control we had, and I think a lot of that was tiredness. I don't know what you think, Jack.
Yeah, I don't know if we just. I do agree with everything you said, and I don't know. Maybe I'm a bit more reactionary in the way that I was angry last night, and I do feel frustrated at it. But it's the same way. I think the same as you guys is credit to Villa. I think they deserve to win. I don't think it's one where we were robbed of anything or anything we can really complain about. They were the better team on the day. I think if Ollie Watkins had his finishing boots on, we could have conceded a couple, really. But with the injury thing, the only thing that frustrates me, I think we spoke about it before as well, is when do we start to like look at ourselves in terms of every Aston Villa, for example, they haven't got the biggest squad in the world, but they're playing midweek games as well. There's other teams, i.e. City, etc., that have to play midweek and are playing as many fixtures as us. And they all get injuries, but they don't seem to get as many as us. And obviously, I know luck plays into it, and you can't really control luck. If someone comes in with a bad tackle on Saka, like what are we supposed to do? But when it's hamstrings and stuff like that, and it's repeated, and I don't know, like I don't know the answer. I wish I did. But it's like, is it some way we're training? Is it could we rotate more? Is it a thing of we bought in Norgard, but we seem to not trust him to even play against Brentford, the club we bought him from? Is there an issue there that we've bought him and Arteta's seen him in training and thought I've made a mistake there? When it comes to Declan Rice looking knackered, but I just think I just don't want to blame the injuries, and I know it's the injuries. Like we can't take it away and say they're not important because arguably the two best centre backs in the world are both missing for us. So of course it's going to be tough, and like we've got players playing out of position, and of course that's going to affect us. If we had Gabriel and Saliba, do I think we could have got something yesterday? Probably. But when the injuries are so consistent, and it's not just this season either. We were talking about this last season. We were saying injuries have cost us. Obviously, when Saka was out, etc. Even down to the first title challenge when Saliba went out, we had to play Rob Holding. And is there something that we can do, like behind the scenes? Is it the new doctor we got from Palace? Is there something that we need to look into or bring up as fans to the fact that we're getting so many injuries and it's costing us every season? I think that's where I get frustrated. That I
remember.
Go on.
Sorry, Jack. I remember Lee saying something yesterday, though. Right, there's a couple of injuries. Right, it got nothing to do with Arsenal. Like the Gabriel one, he got that playing for Brazil. So the Odegaard one, he got that one playing for Norway. You know,
but maybe it comes down
and
to
then even like
freshness is more like it might not just be injuries, but when we talk about I don't know Ben White looking knackered, is that because he's only played one 90-minute game? I know he's injured at the start of the season, but the past month or so he has been available. Maybe we could have given him 20 minutes here or there a bit more often just to build up that match fitness, or could Gyökeres could have come on for a bit longer?
But then Timber's been brilliant. And a friend of mine was making a point to me yesterday. Right, he was going like, when we talk about say Declan Rice and do we play him too much and things like that, he was making a point to me that remember when City that season when they won the league, like Rodri played every game. Yeah. Every single game. Remember, like, and they had that thing where every time he plays, they don't lose. So, like, he played every Premier League game. He played every sort of important game in the Champions League. He only ever got rested if it was, say, a Carabao Cup, which is exactly what we have been doing with Rice. So, I don't know. Listen, I don't know. I don't know what the other guys think. There is a lot of bad luck in it sometimes.
My only thing, just quickly with Arteta, is I think when he has an opportunity to rest a player, sometimes he doesn't take it. Do you know? It feels like he's very reliant on that sort of core group. Like I said, when we went to Port Vale, you know, Gabriel's on the bench coming on, Declan Rice is coming on. I know you say there Gabriel got injured playing for Brazil, but is that a culmination of coming back from a torn hamstring and playing every league game, and then eventually you get to Brazil and then the muscle goes? So I think the whole point of that squad depth in the summer was Saka doesn't have to play 90 minutes every week, Saliba doesn't. I would like to see Mikel now, when you're playing teams, particularly at home, and you know, no manager's going to say it, but you know there's a very good chance you're going to win. Take somebody out. You know, Timber's played a lot of football. Rice played a lot. Pick and choose. Maybe I take that player out for this game, this one for that game, and just take the workload off some of these players, because I've never seen a team get this many injuries. You know, they need to do some big investigation. Is it the training ground, the medical staff, Arteta overplaying them? Because our depth now is, I mean, we had that young boy Salmon on the bench yesterday, 16 years of age, and you're going, do you know what I mean? I see Oxlade-Chamberlain played in that game yesterday. I'm panicking now, thinking, is Mikel going to give him a 6-month contract? He played against United under 21s with Jesus. So, yeah, man, it's a strange one. I don't know what you think, Lee, about the injuries. What do you think?
Listen, I think that there is a problem there, like, you know, and what worries me about it is, like, you know, what sort of injury has Saliba got? Like a training injury one day before a massive game and has now missed the last 3 games. You know what I mean? What sort of injury is it? They're sort of keeping that very, very quiet because, you know, surely on that Saturday, it should be a light training session. I don't see how you should be getting an injury that's keeping you out long term. You know, I look at the the Havertz one in Dubai, you know what I mean? Like when he's ripped the hamstring off his bone, right? Well, what sort of training is that like? You're going out there for a rest, like you're not, you know, a little tick over, ripping the hamstring off you, you know. What's he trying to do? Like, you know, I don't understand it. So those sort of ones can be prevented.
He must have been at the club white, you know, like dancing.
I don't know where he could be doing it. I don't know, like, but the end, you've got to look at players, like, you know, and if you're going to rest them. Not then, like, say, all right. I imagine what it's like. One of these things, right? You're being rested today, so go and see the fitness bloke. You've got to do 6 mile run, 600 press ups. You know what I mean? And then you've got to get on the bike and do a 25 mile run on the bike. You know, I'd rather play, boss. All right, yeah, you can play then, Declan. Like, you know what I mean? Just something like that. I don't understand it. I don't want to see Declan even going to Bruges. I really don't, like, you know what I mean? I do think, listen, we've had these injuries. There is a little bit of luck in injuries. I remember Saka being rested against Crystal Palace and then plays Crystal Palace in the league game round about this time last year, wasn't it? And he goes out and gets injured, like, you know. So it can, but I just think at the end of the day, as you say, what is Norgard here for? Realistically, what do we sign him for? You know what I mean? If you're not going to play him, maybe like, you're going to play him in games where, like the League Cup tie, so players can get a rest and all that. I don't know. Or the FA Cup can help, but I'm looking at Norgard. I'm scratching my head. He's playing against Brentford the other day. He's hardly played. You think they're playing against Brentford, like, you know, but they don't. They don't get even. We're getting absolutely overrun in midfield yesterday. There was a. You know, like, listen, hindsight's a wonderful thing. We're watching the game. I've watched the highlights back and seen what people are saying. You could actually say, look, we needed to stiffen it up a bit in midfield. But they chose not to do that. You know what I mean? Like, actually chose to bring a player on and then take him off instead of bringing him on. I would look at that and go, hold on a minute. What am I actually here for? Like, you know, I thought there was a case to maybe we was getting overrun in midfield. I don't know what that was, whether that was to tactically or where, but we needed to do something in there, like, you know. And all of this at times, these are the little worrying details of Arsenal at this moment in time. I really honest, forget about injury. I don't think we played brilliantly against Sunderland in the first half. Then when you let all the shackles off, we're outstanding, but we can see the goal at the end. I thought when we come out second half, why can't we go out like that in the first half? I thought we was outstanding in that first 20 minutes. They couldn't get near us. And then we get the goal. I do think that maybe they stepped up a little bit, but it seemed to be, we've got the goal now. We're dropped back into our shape again. And let's be a little bit more calmer about the situation and how we play the game. Like, it's a control. Let's control the game again. No, let's go out there and beat up a team and beat them. Like, you know, I thought that first 20 minutes was sensational. But what we need to do is maybe, you know, as soon as we score a goal, it seems to be all right. Okay, we've got the goal now. Let's get back into our shape. Try and get Zubimendi on the ball, and then they took over again. Like, you know. But listen, I think you've got to give Aston Villa so much praise for that game. I thought that they were better than us on the day. They wanted it. I think they wanted it more than us.
That looks a worry as well.
I don't like saying that, but
it looks a worry that they wanted it more.
That is do you know what? Can I just ask something for the sake of debate? Sorry, Jack, I'll let you come in. I remember last season, Robbie and Yardman had a discussion about Arteta and Unai Emery. What do we think? Who is the better manager?
I say. In the Premier League, Arteta is a way better manager. And you know what? I had this with a Villa fan yesterday, right? You know that Villa fan we interviewed? He was giving it large about Unai Emery. And I had to remind him, I said, listen, Unai Emery, let's not forget this, yeah? last season, they were. Remember where they're playing right now? They're playing in the Europa League. He did the same thing he did at Arsenal. He had a game, last game of the season. They're playing Man United away. Man United have rested literally all their players because they got the Europa League final the following week against Tottenham, right? And all they had to do is get a draw or win, and they were in the Champions League, and he blew it. They lost, and they ended up in the Europa League. Yeah, he's doing well at the moment. Remember, he started off the season badly. Yeah. There was a lot of people saying he could lose his job. So let's not get too carried away. Arteta's been doing a great job. Unai Emery, if he had, would he have been able to cope with the amount of injuries? You know, let's just say no Konsa, no all these players missing, no Morgan Rogers, no this, no that. Yeah, I mean, we got to remember these things. It's not always just as simple as that. It's not just as black and white as that. You know what I mean? Even like somebody was saying to me, oh, but City. What? I get it, right? I get where people are coming about City because they've been champions before and they've chased us down before and gone over. But also you got to look at the context of the games that City have just had. You would expect them to win all those games. And they've actually struggled in about 3 of them. Right, you would expect them, innit? If you, what's their game? They've played since they come back after the international break. They've had 2 promoted teams. I think they've played. Am I right?
Sunderland, Leeds, Fulham.
Yeah, Sunderland, Leeds,
Leeds, and
Fulham, who were down near the bottom, and who was the other team they played?
And Villa, which they lost to.
And Villa, who they lost to. Right, we've had to play Tottenham, North London derby. We all know what that's going to be like, even though we won it easy in the end. We've got to go away to Chelsea, Brentford, and away to Villa, right? It's not quite the same type of games that everyone's had. So it's too early to have them discussions. Let's wait until the end of the season. I'm quite happy with the manager at the moment. Listen, you guys make good points about injuries and that, and there are questions to be asked on that. You know, why is it we get so many? Is it bad luck? Is it something? I really don't know. Some of them I know you can put down to bad luck. You make good points, Curtis. All right. Are we overplaying them even before? I don't know. The Norgard thing, like you said. But Norgard's not really a Declan Rice replacement, is he? He's more a replacement for Zubimendi. Then, you know, really, if you talk about, again, this is how we have to look at things. If you're talking about the replacement person to replace Rice, if you're going to give him a rest, that should be Marino. But then Marino's having to replace the fact that we got no strikers. So he can't go in there. So who else is going to go in there? You're going to put Ethan Wanyeri in there, a kid, but that's not really his, you know, he's more of a number 10. Possibly you could play Odegaard there, but then he's only just coming back. That's some of the conundrums that he sort of faces at the moment. It's not really, I would really like to see how he is going to rotate things when he does sort of have a full complement of fit players. But I just get really, I don't know who to blame. I don't know whose fault it is. I just get so frustrated when I just see the team sheets every week. And like we said, I thought Saliba was going to be back yesterday. And then when I saw that, I was just like, it is deflating, man. You just think, when, man?
No, I hear it all. It's more the thing of like, because we've been it through before, I just don't want this period. You see this period of Chelsea, Sunderland and Villa, what is the period we look back at the end of the season and go, I imagine if we did get that extra point against 10-men Chelsea. Oh, imagine if we didn't concede in the last minute to Villa. Oh, we would have won the league.
Yeah.
When the league's won by, like, in the previous, 4 or 5 seasons, it's always been won by, I think, except last year, Liverpool quite ahead. It's always like a 3-4 points. It's never someone normally running away with it. So when you look back at them games where we could have scraped, like you said, we're, 3 seconds away from getting a point at Villa. We were, like, if we played a bit better against Chelsea, we had an hour against 10 men. Could we have won that game? Most likely, if we played with all our players. I don't want it to be that thing. I still remember when the season's gone past, Kai Havertz at Aston Villa away got given as a handball. We dropped points there. The Declan Rice red card against Brighton at home and stuff. Them little moments you always seem to remember at the end of the season. And I don't want this. Oh, do you remember that Christmas period when we lost both Gabriel and Saliba and we didn't win all our games and that's why we lost the league? I don't want it to be one of them. So I think I do agree with what you're saying. Once we get the players back and we got to stay there till Christmas, but it's just, I think it's the PTSD. I think that's all that affects everyone. Where it's been so close for 4 years now, and it always is down to, especially that's not last season, the season before, where it was generally like 2 points in it, and we were right in it till the end. It's so close that every point drop feels more than what it is. Normally, like you said, if you look at it in context, like if we took a draw yesterday, Villa were the better side, we would have came away. They're a good side anyway, in good form. We would have gone, oh, that's a good point, that. But when you're in a title race where teams don't drop that many points, it's like, well, we only lost, 4 games last season? It was a lot of draws last season that really killed us. But I think we've lost 2 already. Like, that's given us, if we want to match last season, we've got the rest of the season, we can only drop 2 more losses if we want to match what we were doing last season. Obviously, hopefully we turn a lot more of them draws into wins, because that killed us more than the losses. But yeah, I just think it's thinking about them key details. I think it's just that rough period that Sunderland, Chelsea, and now just in quick succession. I think it's just built a bit of. I think that tension is in the fan base again. Obviously, I wasn't at the ground, but like Lee said, it feels like starting to creep a bit the nerves again. City did look good yesterday. Just don't want it to happen again. I think that's what it is.
Yeah, you know what as well, like, just going back to one of the points that you guys are making about how Arsenal are playing these games away from home, right? I agree. I think Curtis said it, right? We're a bit like a boxer, you know, like in boxing fights, right? Where you see we go out there, right? And you're feeling the person out at first. Feeling them out, like, you know. And then later on now, that's when you grow into the fight and, you know what I mean, championship rounds. I want to see, like you said, Curtis, look, can't we go out and sort of, from the start of it, get into it a bit more? Because if we look at it, right, as well, the last 3 away games, we've conceded first. Conceded first against Chelsea, Sunderland, and now against Villa. We've got to starting these games faster. You can't just keep doing this thing and go a goal down and then for the, you know, we take the game over. We got to, I don't think we started badly. You know, it wasn't a terrible. It was. I thought the first half against Chelsea was a bad first half, but it wasn't a terrible first half against Villa. But I still think we could have been have a bit more intensity, because I looked at the Villa crowd, and I don't know if you thought, Lee, you were very quiet compared to when you normally go there. Obviously, they weren't quite near the end because, you know what I mean. But at the start of that game, normally you go Villa Park, it's a real cauldron, and it weren't, because I think, you know, 12:30 kickoff and that. It's kind of quiet, kind of like, you know what I mean? I think we should have started the game quicker. We started the game like, as I said, there's a lot of those games. I know I get the control stuff and all that, but there's a lot of them games sometimes. I was like, yo, can we be a bit more urgency at the start of games? Hence, we saw how we conceded that goal. I mean, Eze's fast asleep.
Yeah, that was unforgivable, I think. I think that's the one thing that annoyed me. Like, I think I said at the start of this, if you miss an open goal, mess up a pass, it happens. The rain on the pitch, except whatever, I understand it. But not tracking your man, or not putting enough effort in to track your man, should I say. I think it was so obvious he was going to get subbed at halftime. I knew as soon as he did that, Arteta was furious. That's the exact thing Arteta would be, absolutely. Yeah. You've seen so many clips over the years of him telling Martinelli to get back, Trossard to get back. I think he even shouted at Eze in one of the early Champions League games this season about getting back. And I saw it. You can see the look on Eze's face when he turns around and realises Cash has got the run on him. And it was like, I feel like he accepted at that point, oh yeah, I'm going off at halftime. It wouldn't even surprise me if he's on the bench for a while because of that. I feel like that's the one thing Arteta is like one of his non-negotiables, is it, that he brought in. I can see that being one thing that really annoys him.
Probably right as well.
Yeah.
Terrible.
Oh, listen, you can't get away from the fact that how poor he was. You know what I mean? He got away with one when he slips and they give a free kick. They was onto us then, like, you know what I mean? It wasn't a free kick.
What was up with him slipping every minute?
He kept slips every time. I don't know, you know what I mean?
Torville and Dean, man, he was.
Yeah. Which one though, Rob? I think he's more like Torville. But listen, I think, you know, you're all forgiving for a poor performance like that. But, you know, you can't have passengers in games of football, right? You can't, and that is the thing. We've had last season. We had Odegaard as a passenger for a lot of last season. If I'll be honest, in that role that he played, you can't be having it on the wide flank, especially when you've got people like Martinelli that have sacrificed his own game for the sake of the team for so many months, and then. You put him out there and he does that. You know what I mean? It's unforgivable. I'll be honest. I'm a big Eze fan, and like Curtis says, he's done really well for us in that role there. Obviously, like getting a hat trick against Spurs, gives you a load of credit. I think after yesterday's performance, that's gone. That credit's gone because, yeah, we got the 3 points against Spurs and bragging right, but he's cost us 3 points there with that just switching off. It's just basically that's so unprofessional for a footballer to do that. Just to switch off like that. You know what I mean? It's you just can't. You can't do that, and then I think Raya, who I thought Raya had a good. I watched the game back.
Raya played well.
He played very, very well. Made a couple of really, really good. Actually, makes a save before the goal in the last seconds. But the one that goes through his legs, another day he gets a foot on that and it ricochets out and everything like that. the one thing I will say, every time the ball bounced around the area for us, it was just going wide of one of our players. It just bounced to them and they took it. I'm not making excuses. This is how it is. And I just think at the end of the day, I'm going to say now, we have got to get more ruthless as a forward attacking unit as well. I don't think we do enough. I don't think we do enough with all the possession that we have. We do not do enough in the final third. I thought our final third yesterday again was not good enough. It wasn't good enough. And he hooks off Marino and he hooks off Eze. Saka's lucky not to be hooked off as well. The reason he's not is because that he can do moments which he goes on and does. But at the end of the day, you can't. You as a front three, you've got to be more effective than that. And do you know what, Curtis? When you said about that cross, that is an unbelievable cross from Declan Rice. There's 5 minutes to go from the end, and both of them are not on the wavelength. Not on the wavelength as they should be. And then when you bring on Gyökeres, part of your job is to hold the ball up. He never held it up once yesterday. That put us under pressure. Generally all round, our forward play is not up to the scratch of what other parts of our game are. And if we're going to go and win the league, we have to improve as a front three. Now, we've got January coming up. If you do not sign anybody in January, then you have to do it as a coaching point of view. And this is going to put pressure on. I don't think our front three is good enough to win the league. It's not. Doesn't score enough goals, doesn't look enough down. And we do not look like scoring goals at will. You know what I mean? Do you remember a couple of years ago we was beating teams 6-0, 5-0, 4-0 and all that? Let's go back to that. Go back to it. Whatever that was, I want some more of that when I know that you're going to go and destroy teams. But the last few games, with this control sort of game, you're vulnerable to a last-minute goal. You're vulnerable to one mistake. And, that's what's happened yesterday, we was vulnerable to it. And if I always felt that they looked, every time they went forward, I thought they might score. When we're going forward, I never felt that. So obviously, the turnover then for them becomes right. Okay, well, we're going to go for it here, And I think that's got to improve, boys. It really has. I don't know if it's personnel or a little tactical tweak, but it's got to change. It's got to change because.
You know what? Can I say something here? Because obviously I was a striker, so I'm always looking at things with strikers, and I think that Arsenal now have got to get Gyökeres in this team and firing, because ultimately he was brought in to make the difference. Now, he had one of his best games at Burnley and got injured. That was unfortunate. I don't know if you even heard that he played with a broken finger.
No, I didn't know. How did he break that?
Well, he's not playing cricket.
Played with a broken finger.
How did he break that?
No, apparently he tried to win the dog's biscuits, apparently, and she nipped him. So, but no, he had a broken finger. Everyone's getting injured. But I look at the moment and I think, if you can get a front three at the moment of Trossard, who's playing well, Saka, and we need to get him closer to his level, and Gyökeres with proper chance creation, it's probably going to be Odegaard. That argument's a waste of time. Arteta's going to pick Odegaard, so Odegaard needs to step his game up and start connecting with Gyökeres, and they need to build partnerships and build chemistry. I think that front three, if you get them on the right wavelength, is capable of breaking teams down. Because I just thought Marino yesterday, it was always going to be a game that he would struggle. And I think Arteta's system generally is built for a false nine. I think it's more suited to when he's had a Havertz up there or a Marino up there. When he's had like an Aubameyang, a Lacazette, a Gyökeres, an out-and-out goal scorer, seems like it struggled a little bit. So I think now they've got to sort of adapt to Gyökeres.
Yeah, that's
he's
what
got to
Gyökeres.
adapt as well.
I just want to say one thing on Gyökeres. Like, obviously, I get it. He's had horrid these injuries, he's been in and out. He's played with different wingers all the time and stuff. And I know he's a finisher. His game isn't hold up play completely sort of thing. But I do expect some of the basics better, man. I think, like you said, every single ball went to him. It's like it takes him 10 seconds to settle the ball between his feet. And it's like, I get it, he's a big striker and he's a big guy and stuff, but he's a Premier League striker that we spent a lot of money on that scored 100 goals in 100 games or whatever. And I know the league's more intense and stuff, but you know the basics, it's like, I see the ball played into him and I almost expect him to lose it, or he makes every pass a 50-50 duel. It's like by the time he's controlled the ball, there's a defender on him that he's got a battle and he'll just pass. And if you're not going to do that well at all, fine, acceptable. But then when Declan Rice is putting that cross in, that's where you go, okay, I'm not really good at this side, but I've got to be on that. So I get the fact of, yeah, he's not got the chemistry, he's not had the best service ever, but he has had stuff where he could have shown what he can do. And I don't think he's shown it yet. Obviously, in and out the team doesn't help, and I do get that, but it is a bit worrying in terms of the basics, like just certain ball control and movement and stuff that you sort of thought that'd be the bit that will come easy. It'd be more about building the connection with the other players. It'd be the hard bit. But yeah, just a note on him to save Eze anyway.
Okay. By the way, Lee, we are actually the second top scorers in the league. So we are scoring a lot of goals, but we need more. You are right. We do need more.
Yeah, we need more. I know that sometimes statistics lie. I know that sounds silly, but they do. You know what I mean? Like, I get it that we're the top scorers.
No,
but,
second top. Second. City at the top.
Yeah, I think that Spurs are up there, like, but as well, like, but it is how you go about playing it. Like, someone made a great analogy yesterday, and I think that we've got to think of this as well. And we've all been a little bit guilty. I've been guilty with Marino as well, Someone said, look, if you put a spare tire on a car, you don't continually keep using it. Right. It's a fact, isn't it?
Marino's the spare tyre.
Yeah, so eventually you get it changed to get the real deal back on there. It does you a job, but eventually you got. And do you know what? I looked at that and I thought, do you know what? That's a great thing to say. He's done well for us, Marino, but Gyökeres is your striker. You spent the money on it. You got to do it, and you got to make it work, Mikel. Yeah. You got to make it work. He's the one now that takes us leads us to the title. That's what you got to do, And whether you like it or whether you don't, that is it. That is it for me, I think that, I look at Odegaard. You've got Haaland playing for you in Norway, so you can find Haaland, you can find him, There's not much of a difference as far as he's a big centre forward and things like that. We know that Haaland's Haaland, but at the end of the day, I've heard people say we can't play with this centre forward and all that. Well, you play with a centre forward, right? Wingers want to get the crosses in for a centre forward. Every time we cross the ball, he's nowhere near it. Nowhere near it when the crosses come in, I don't know why, but as you say yesterday, so it's a great point. Declan Rice puts in a cross yesterday that Haaland would be eyes wide open and feeding off of that. That's the sort of service he loves. We haven't got no one in there, and I don't care if it's sharpness or whatever, find a way of making this player play and play properly for us as a football club. And Odegaard, I thought played well yesterday, but what did he do to create anything? And my argument is, and I'm trying to stick up for him here, he laid on the pass for Saka, which then eventually got us to go. He was unlucky with the shot, but I want to see him be doing. If you're coming back after 6 weeks out, you're coming straight back in the team. You've got to produce better performances than what you're doing. You've got to be out there because it ain't fair on the likes of Ezo's banged in hat-tricks and things like that to be left out of the team, like, you know. So if you're, I always say this when we play an FX team, if you're bringing one of the players in, if they don't perform, that's down on you and the manager. So you've got to come in there and do it. And I'm sorry that from now on, that is a give me, because I thought he'd done okay, but okay is not good enough. Okay is not good enough when you've got to leave players out for it, like, and it's no good. We're all saying it. I'm going to say this as well. I would have won a lot of money. I said that Odegaard would start this game. You know what I mean? Like, why are you putting, if you can think about it, why don't you put Odegaard out there on the left and he's saying, we can't do that. You can't do that because that's where he plays. So justify it. You can't just walk straight back into a team that's won 18 games, lost for 18 games, and in the last couple, we've now faltered a little bit, like, you know. I think it's a big call this on Arteta now. Like, people have already started. I've seen it today and online. People questioning his mentality again. Like, by the way, you ain't getting that from me. He's lost one game in 18. I'm not questioning him. You know what I mean? You know, he's lost a game, and a lot of people are at him again. Prove them wrong, Mikel. If you're playing Odegaard, he has to be better than what he was yesterday, even though I didn't think he was bad.
On yesterday, none of us came up with the result, as you can see there. So no movement in the prediction table. We do, of course, have a quick turnaround game coming up on Wednesday, where we take on Bruges. Curtis, wholesale changes for you?
I mean, do we have wholesale changes to bring in? That's the problem. Do you know what I mean?
But who do you change at the back? Because Calafiori.
Yeah, like, I mean,
I guess.
No, he's suspended for the next game, isn't he?
But then,
he's suspended. Yeah,
he's suspended for the league game at Wolves. Yeah, he's suspended for. I mean, yeah, we're not going to talk about the Villa game, but yeah, it's not the worst game to be suspended for. We should be all right, you know. Yeah, in terms of the Champions League game, I mean, in defence, you can only bring in who's available. Otherwise, you've got to play the same back four again. I'm not bringing in a 16-year-old. It's still the Champions League. It's not going to help us if we get beat. I think Norgard's got to play. I think he has to play. Otherwise, why are they not? Instead of Declan Rice. You know, I know, put Zubimendi in that further advanced role. You know, I think Zubimendi looks good when he gets forward and plays passes, but I don't even want to see Rice getting on the plane. I don't want to see no picture on Arsenal's Twitter and he's thumbs up on the plane. No, send him to Dubai, where Yover and Lee was, you know, living lavish. Send him over there.
Hold on a bit. Lee said I don't want him to play.
On his hamstring.
Hamstring off the
boat. No,
don't send him there either.
Yeah, true, yeah. Maybe he was chasing Lee to the sunbed and done his hammy, you know what
I mean? You know what those Germans are like with the old sunbeds, you know what I mean? They're straight on them, aren't they?
Lee got there first, he done his hammy.
He got there first, only because he tore his hamstring.
He said, I didn't know you still played Vets football, mate. You're too quick. Oh, my days. Ethan, I don't know what this. I think his name's Ethan Nwaneri. Do you remember him? Yeah, I think I'd maybe give him a run out if Arteta remembers him. Gyökeres got to play. Bruges are no mugs, by the way. You know, this ain't Slavia Prague. Like, they're better than them. And then it's just who's available out wide, to be honest. Trossard obviously not going to start, surely, if you had to take him off. I'd probably play Noni as well, give Saka a break. Front three, probably, I'd play probably Noni, Gyökeres, Martinelli. Maybe play Nwaneri in the 10. Although saying that, then where's Eze playing? No, I'll probably play Eze in the 10. Put Ethan on the right. Ethan needs game time, man. He hasn't played that well this season, but there's certain players where you've got to keep them interested. He must be on the coach going to games going, That's my weekend done. You know what I mean? I know I'm not at no point even unzipping my jacket. And I do feel like last season we were all going, "Oh, this is a young star who can be whatever he wants." And this season, people keep going, "Oh, he's only a kid," and I'm like, "Well, he's not, is he? He's 18, you know, and he's proved he's a good player." So I think at times Arteta's got to trust these guys. So yeah, a bit of rotation. Would you play Kepa? Would you give Kepa minutes?
Yeah, I would.
I mean,
I would.
What's yours,
I
then,
would.
Lee? What's your 11?
I'm going to say the same back four because you got to, but I'm changing Timber with White. I want to see what that looks like. You know what I mean? I think that a lot of running for Ben White over the last two games. You know what I mean? At central defence, you don't get that. So you know, if Saliba's fit, he comes back. He comes back in. He needs minutes to needs minutes to come back in. Get up and running again, like, you know, if I'll be honest. I'm playing Miles Lewis-Skelly for this game because I need him up and running for Saturday.
What if he got injured? Well, listen, because that's the thing now. The thing now, Calafiori's out of that game against Wolves because he's a 5 yellow cards, so we know he's definitely out. Miles Lewis-Skelly, you go and play him, and anything happens to him, he's the only left back we got.
Well, you know, I get that, but you can't keep protecting, you know, players. You just got to, I think he'll be okay. I think he needs minutes. I think, you know, I think he needs to play. I'd even say, like, give him 60 minutes, then bring on Calafiori then, something like that. I don't know. My midfield is that Wanyeri's got to play at some stage. Now, I don't know whether you're going to play him as on the wide or whatever, but I want him playing in this game, like, you know. So I'm going to go with Norgard, Zubimendi, and Wanyeri is my three in there. And up top, I'm going Madueke, Gyökeres, and Martinelli. I'm going to give that front three a complete rest.
Jack.
And may even leave Zubimendi out and play Marino.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Jack. I'd maybe switch the back line slightly. I'd go Lewis-Skelly on the left back. I understand the injury thing, but I think he needs just minutes at the moment. I think the last couple of games he hasn't been great either when he's come on as well. So maybe to just get that out of his system. I'll probably play Calafiori at centre back just because he can't play against Wolves anyway, and obviously he started off as a centre half. So against Bruges, I think he should do well enough there.
Good point.
You could shout.
If Saliba's back, I'd play him again just for minutes. If it's only a knock, it was only a knock. If he is back, it couldn't have been anything big. So I don't think you have to worry about him like tearing anything or anything like that. So hopefully he can just get some minutes in. Right back, go Ben White, just rest Timber where we've not been able to rest him, where he's had to fill in at centre half. Midfield, Norgard has to play. If not, might as well just sell him in January. What was the point in buying him? Wanyeri, that's the thing. Wanyeri has to play. I think even... I don't know. I'm slightly concerned about the fact that obviously Madueke's been out for a while, but obviously he came on against Bayern. We gave him grace that he did score. He came on against Chelsea. I thought he was quite poor when he came on. I thought he was quite poor when he came on yesterday. I think Wanyeri's got the right now to say, "Oh, he's had a few poor cameos now. Let me show you what I can do." So hopefully, Wanyeri. It's hard with Zubimendi because I do feel like he needs a rest as well, but we have no options there, and I don't think we should play two attacking eights with a makeshift back line. So I guess you got to play Zubimendi, Wanyeri, Norgard, and then Madueke, Gyökeres, Martinelli probably. I wouldn't play Eze purely because of the fact I just think he needs to sit out for a second, just realise what he's done. He needs to sit on the naughty step for a bit.
Man wants him arrested. You know what I mean?
I was heated, but you can't not shut your mouth.
Yeah. Anyway. I like your back. I like at the back where you said play Calafiori as a centre back. I hadn't even thought of that, so I like that.
Yeah, I like that. I like that. Well done, Jack.
Maybe resting Capia.
Yeah.
You could bring in Capia on later on, who could cover either of those positions, either left back or centre back. And then that gives Timber a rest. Play Ben White at the right. That's not a bad suggestion. Midfield, like you guys said, Norgard's got to come in. Bring Norgard in. Maybe Marino. I don't know. Maybe Odegaard in there again. He still needs more game time. And Wanyeri, maybe play the two of them. I mean, it is Bruges. They've only won one game in the Champions League so far, And up front, I agree with what you guys are saying. Noni Madueke on the right, on the left-hand side, Martinelli and Gyökeres down the middle. These guys got to get some game time, got to get themselves back up to speed. And it's a very winnable game. Bruges have not been on anything really in this Champions League. 4 points, that's all they've got so far. It wouldn't even be the end of the world if it's a draw, or even a loss wouldn't be the end. The most important game is that game against Wolves. That is an absolute must-win. We've got to have everybody up to speed. And following that, we then have another week off, don't we, if I'm right, until we get to the Everton game. So Rice, like you said, I agree with Curtis. I don't even want to see the guy even on a football pitch this week. Give him a week off. You know when they're doing the photographs? I don't want to see him there. Right, although I'd get worried if I didn't see him there, because then he's probably injured or something. You know, every time I don't see someone, then I'm worried again. But he needs a rest. He looked out of he's shattered yesterday. He needs a rest. Rest Declan Rice. Don't even bring him over there. He's not even needed in reserve. Rest that guy. Give him a full. Just say, Declan, just chill out, man. You know what I mean? And could do with doing that with Timber as well, but maybe with the amount of injuries. And let some of those players, those fringe players, come in and do their thing. I mean, Wanyeri, I've been hearing strong rumours that he could go on loan in January, which would be a real shame. But then when you look on it, he could do with some game time. Let's get predictions for that game then, because that's going to be our predictions for this week. Let's get them in.
Right.
Hold on.
I'm going back.
Hold on. Are you top? Oh, yeah, you are top. Sorry.
Sorry. You're last. Apologies. You're down the bottom. I'm going to go back to my old school. 2-0.
Go on.
2-0.
He's just got a default.
You know what's bad as well, actually? I'm going to go 2-0 as well, purely because I'm not too sure what team will play. So I'm playing tactically here. Just so Lee can't, increase the gap above me. I'm going 2-0.
Where you going?
Yes.
2-0.
So mind games here, boys.
You know what? Just to keep the thing going, right? I'm going to go 3-0. 3-0. I'll go 3-0.
All right.
I respect it.
3-0. Right? Let me go 3-0. But boy, you know what I mean? We don't be scoring it. 3-0, man. Gyökeres have got to show up, man. About bloody time. You know what I mean? 3-0.
I like that, Rob. I like it.
We don't actually have any voice notes today, but do we have a comment from everybody?
Yeah, I've got one.
Go on, then.
My comment is, the banter with Lee and Curtis constantly jiving Robbie. Love it. And also, there was one, a quick one saying about, I did like that one, saying, oh, it was great not to talk about the traffic for five minutes. So, of course, because we was doing it remotely, so that was quite a clever one as well. Like, you know what I mean? So.
All right, who got it? Jack?
Yeah, I got one from John Stuvie 000, who says, "Are any of our strikers better than Gabriel Jesus?" Well, it's a question. I thought it'd be throw that question out there. Any of our, so Gyökeres, Havertz, Marino, have any of them showed that they're better than Gabriel Jesus?
Not when he was in his prime, before injuries.
No. That's a shout.
That's obviously
not in an Arsenal shirt.
Yeah, that's what I think. He played in the under-21 game.
Although Havertz was going along all right, the goal-wise, wasn't he? So
it's a tough one. I just thought it was interesting. Obviously, he played the under-21 game yesterday. Maybe Bruges is something that maybe he could come on as a
maybe Bruges give him a 20 minutes at Bruges. You know what I mean? You never know.
But yeah, I thought it was a good one.
Okay.
Yeah, I got one here. David said. He said for Jack mentioning Marino and R9 in the same sentence.
I remember that as well. I said he was like R9 in the box.
All right, I've got one here from My Thoughts Are Below, right? And this is such a good comment, right, that I may adopt this. Now, he says, I love the pod, guys, but I don't think anyone cares about your prediction leagues. No offense. So I ditched that segment in the future. Now, I think that's a very good suggestion. that we just ditch.
What's his name? Twat what?
Right? So yeah, I think we may do that from this week. Should we just ditch it?
No bloody way. Like, you know what I mean?
Nothing to do with the fact that I'm bottom of the table.
Yeah, of course.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, man.
Oh boy. You know what? Before you guys go, right? Because we don't have any voice notes this week, right? But I really want to get your opinion on this, and this has nothing to do with Arsenal. Mo Salah and his comments and what he came out and said. Where were you guys at with this? I remember at the start of the season, I was on DR, and when they'd signed Isak, Liverpool, and they'd signed Wirtz, and they'd signed Ekitike, and I remember saying to AGT, obviously a Liverpool fan, I said to him, I go, you know what? It's all great signing those signings, but could this mess with the dynamic at Liverpool? And what happens with Salah? Because Salah ain't going to be sitting on no bench for no players. And he was like, oh, you're just being jealous because we've signed Ekitike and we signed Isak and we're going to win the league. And I think now we're seeing this play out. This guy ain't sitting on no bench, as he's shown, right? And that was explosive yesterday, what he came out with.
Unbelievable.
I don't know what your guys' thoughts are on it.
I'll tell you what it is now. It's and this is how it is now, right? It's Mo Salah has actually told Liverpool Football Club, it's me or him. That's what he's told Liverpool Football Club. He ain't, and it's going to come down now, like very interesting what way Liverpool go, because it is definitely he's had a falling out of him and all that. Like, do you know what? One thing, Mo Salah turned around and said, I don't know why I'm on the bench. Well, your performances have put you on the bench, mate. That's why.
Yeah, but he's saying he's not the only one.
Yeah.
No,
many other players have been poor and they ain't. He's done 3 in a row, innit, on the bench. That's what he's saying.
He feels that he's been left as a little bit of a scapegoat. The only thing going against Mo in that regard was that they left him out. Was it Frankfurt and they won 5-1? They then leave him out. The next time they leave him out, they win as well. And he kept his powder dry, didn't he? But what he's done is, soon as they've had a bad result, he's gone in there. Like he's waited. He's waited, very calculated, and basically now it's one or the other. Yeah. Simple as that. And I'll tell you what, Arnie Slot will be glad that the African nations is coming up. He'd be very, very happy about that, because otherwise it could be worse. But it's one or the other now.
It was funny. The funniest thing about it was that, like, if you watch the video, he's not gone to Sky Sports. He's not gone to anyone. He's just left the stadium, found the first media guy he could find who happened to work for some smaller Norwegian TV station, and given him probably the best interview he's ever had in his career. He's given him a tell-all, and you could see the Liverpool press officer stood behind Salah with his head on his face, hands on his head like this, thinking, what is this guy doing? And I think he's done exactly, you summed it up well. He's literally basically said, you either sack the manager or I'm off after AFCON. And I mean, I don't think any of us would have saw that coming, considering he signed like a $500,000 a week contract, just the end of last season. So I don't know, man. I think I can see him going Saudi at the end of the month, and that being that, because I don't think Liverpool can give in to player power, no matter, even if they're looking to sack Slot anyway, even if they're looking to replace him, for them to publicly come out and get rid of Slot and back Salah, sort of puts them in a position of, we listen to Salah, players are always going to have the power over the manager. Them getting a new manager in that is going to be really difficult when they're going to say, oh, well, if Salah doesn't like me, you're just going to sack me. So I don't know. It's a tricky one. I don't know why he's done that, man. He's ruined it for them.
I mean, from my point of view, obviously he doesn't play for our club. I know this sounds a bit bad, but I love the interview. You know what I mean? I love it. Do you know why? Because football to me has become very, I don't know, everyone says the same thing. It's monotone, it's boring. He's just come out and gone, yeah, this prick's putting me on the bench. I don't rate him. You know what I mean? Like, this fraud has got me on the bench after what I've done at Liverpool. So, he even said, yeah, my family will be at the Brighton game. I don't know whether I'll play. And they were like, what is it? Could that be your last game? He went, yeah, maybe. I'll go to AFCON. And then, so he's playing a dangerous game. I do think he has to understand that, you're not playing at the level you've previously played. And when you sign players like Isak, maybe that's an indication you're not going to be the main man anymore. And maybe he's struggling to adapt to that. But like Lee said, he's basically said to Liverpool, it's him or me. And then let's see who goes first.
I just got this theory. I don't think the Saudi thing, I don't think he's looking to go no Saudi yet either. I do think he's looking to get Slot out, right? And then I also feel that, does he feel, and I think there could be an element of this, despite what everyone always says, Liverpool are this club, they won't do these things. But I get the feeling that Liverpool kind of want him to go to Saudi. So that's why maybe they've sort of been saying to Slot, yeah, don't play him, man. 400 grand a week. He's not looked himself. We've got Ekitike and Isak now who can cover that, right? Let's make it difficult for him so that he goes to Saudi. And I think he's cottoned on to that, and he's sort of to himself, all right, so like now I'm the scapegoat for anything. Van Dijk's playing crap. No, you ain't dropping him. This one's playing crap. Gakpo scored less goals than me. This, that, but it's all my fault. He's like, well, and I think this is what he done it deliberately, obviously. And I don't think he's looking to go no Saudi. I think he's looking to like just cause problems. And this is bad, man. And like you said, Curtis, I'm enjoying it. Because if this was us, every Liverpool fan would be enjoying it if it was us, right? The way they've imploded after winning the title, I mean, obviously, you've got to take the Jota thing into account as well, right, which was really, really sad. But also, the way it's imploding, and that just shows us as well that if he's saying that, he ain't going to be the only player in that Liverpool side who's thinking that about Slot. Don't think it's just him. That's what I'm thinking.
Would you guys say, I think he's lost a lot of that dressing room. Maybe not all of it, the new boys, but I think they're not playing for him. Because the one thing you always got from Liverpool, especially at Anfield, they'd run for a brick wall. And now they're just... I turned the game off yesterday. They were 2-0 up. I thought, we've just lost. I don't want to watch other teams win. I turned it off. Put it back on. It was 3-2. And then the equaliser, I thought... Yeah. And Slot just looked like I was even about to go out for this.
So I came back from the game, right? I was like, have a shower and that. Come down. It was 0-0 half time. Come down. I see 2-0. I'm like, what? I was like, listen, man. I was going, what's going on here? I was just about to settle down and watch this game. 0-0. Right? Then they went 2. Sorry, it was 0-0 at half time. Then they went 2-0. I was just getting up to go out. I was like, I'm going to go to the shops. And it went 2-1. I said, hey, hold on a minute. Let me see. And it was an amazing game. Amazing. That was like, especially that AGT was sending me things saying cash and things like that earlier on in the game. He went too early, mate.
Yeah, he did it with me as well. So, he can hold that.
Yeah, it was so sweet to see, after he was sending me stuff after that Villa game. So, they're imploding, man. No way they're winning the league, that's for sure. Not what's going on. It's going to boil down. I think it is going to be Arsenal or City. They've just like that yesterday. That was ridiculous. But anyway, guys, thanks for all your contributions today. People, don't forget, if you want to get those voice notes in, we went a bit early with the show today. But if you want to get your voice notes in, that is the number that's on the screen there. Or scan the QR code on the screen if you want to send us in your voice notes. Excuse me, we'll have them for the show on Thursday. Of course, we'll be reacting to what takes place after the game against Club Brugge, and we'll be looking forward to that big one at the weekend now. It's an 8:00 kickoff on Saturday. Arsenal, winnable game against, well, not winnable, must-win game against Wolverhampton Wanderers at home. Lee, Jack, and also you, Curtis, thank you very much. And thanks very much to you guys. We will be back for that game. This was Forever Arsenal.